I thank the chair to have remembered that we begin in Mexico with this first UN in 75. With this first, it was the Women Day of the UN. And during the meeting, we have decided it will be 1 year. And during the next meeting to organize a year, they have decided to do a decade and to do the meeting of the UN each decade. So it was a real discovery of the huge importance of the women's movement in all countries, even if at that time, in 75, it was not clear that they were really organized at the national level. And I have prepared something is, I would call it a long story of distrust between religions, all religions, and women. And for me, we are living in Europe, and the more important for us is, of course, the Catholic Church. And we have done the fight against them for long. But it begins from really the first symbol, and the first symbol is a virgin. Could you imagine this poor Joseph? What happens to him? It's completely stupid. And everybody knows that this is a completely stupid thing. But it is. And this continues because it is impossible that Jesus has come as a result of a normal sexual act. Why? And this is the first question that we have to ask. Why isn't it a normal sexual act? Love between two persons. And could you imagine that this archange, if you go to the National Library of France in Paris, you will find, it's waiting for you, a very old book written in Uyghur language from Turkish time, from the 16th century. And it is explaining the trip of Mahomet. It is a Muslim book, a splendid one, historical. And the trip of Mahomet is moving with Archange Gabriel also. So it means when we are speaking about holy books, we are speaking about what? Why shall we have to go and believe holy books? Holy books are history, historical books, like l'Iliade et l'Odyssée. We don't believe that l'Iliade et l'Odyssée has an importance in your daily life, but why do we believe that holy books has this sort of importance? Because this trip of Mahomet, which is the basis of Muslim, was done with Archange Gabriel. They discover heaven, they discover l'enfer de hell, and in the hell, there were a hell for men and a hell for women. And okay, so this is the basis of the differences, maybe in the Muslim religion, I don't know. And they both were supposed to be guilty if they do adultery. And the women were hanged by their hair. So it is, in this book of the 16th century, it is painted by a very, very nice thing. So let history be history. But don't let symbol coming from this history period do a lot of damage in your own life. That's what we are speaking about. We are not speaking about historical. A lot of specialists can do it, has done it, and should continue to do it. It's good, especially if they try to find the common points, because most of the analysis of all these holy books means, well, it's the same, just translation and different periods. But we are interested, as women in the 21st century, we are interested in living persons, real persons of our century. Living hierarchies, living attitudes to keep power, because this is what we are speaking about. Institution for what the church has, all churches has organized is birth, marriage, family rules, and death. And the rest, if possible, they want to keep also the control of the political institution. And in some cases, this fight has been successful in some part of the world, not everywhere, of course. But in our part of the world, most of the time, political institution is not under control of religious. But if you look at the million of citizens of the world who has now not only control of birth, family rules, marriage, death, and also political attitude, then you cover a huge part of the people of today, and this is what we are trying to fight, to separate clearly political and power on the secular life and the attitude on your own family life. But also in your family life, birth, marriage, death, don't let religion come in with symbols that are putting women in a specific corner. So the objective is not only to separate secular public life from the private one, but also for the woman in the private life to be able to understand what happens to them. Why is this distrust? Of course, debate now still continue on what is the area for women in churches. Of course, in the Muslim, because it is the most important trend for us. So, of course, we are looking incredible attitude of trying to put Sharia tribunals inside Canada. I'm just looking the situation of what's happening in Ontario and debate. Of course, they're still fighting to keep power, not only on the private life, but also to be able to go as an institutional aspect of the life. So you can take different. We see marriage organization, institution of marriage, as a result of the way the church, Catholic Church in Europe wanted at that time to keep power on heritage transmission, because heritage transmission is the key for keeping power. If you keep heritage, you keep power. Then if it is a Catholic marriage, this is the one who is doing it that is keeping the real power on the two persons or on the two families. And this is continuing now, creating this fear on what can happen, especially with death. So it is why all the debate in our society today about death are very important, because it is the only way for intelligent, clever people to go to the right point and to go to what means for us being out of this distrust or mistrust against women. We also have to speak about death out of any religion. Saudi Arabia, and this is also an incredible thing. Saudi Arabia is a country where women cannot drive. We will say, like the first speaker, that, well, okay, driving is not that much important in human life, maybe, if you have a driver, okay? If you don't, it is. And, of course, Saudi Arabia has no text who is saying that women are not authorized to drive. It's a practice. Like a lot of practice in the country, in the Muslim country. They cannot go to sport. Can you have a text? No, you don't. They don't do a text. So we are not fighting text in this. We are fighting patriarchal attitude who are organized by institutions. Majlis al-Shura of Saudi Arabia. Average age of the man, or the man, of course. Average age, 85. 85. Retrograde men at a level that you cannot imagine. They reading all the old texts of Islam in the worst way that they can find against women. And they want to keep the power. So there is one woman who has succeeded in secret to be consultant of one of the consultants of the Majlis al-Shura, which is an institution with a consultative competence towards the king. So could you imagine how she can have an influence? Impossible. So we have to take this country as a model of fighting against, because it is there that a lot of things, of reactionary things, are really based and coming out to the rest of the Muslim area. And the last one is Afghanistan. I will come to a conclusion. Afghanistan, we have all said Afghanistan is a good war, because it is a war not only for the Buddhas, even if the Buddhas was the real last incident, it is a good war because it is there that we have the sort of movement, Taliban movement, who has as an ideology to forbid women to go to school, to forbid women to have health care. So that was why we accepted in all the opinion of the NATO countries that it was a good war, even if some of us was thinking that there is no good war. But okay. Then what's happened? After 5 years, Mr. Karzai decided to negotiate with Taliban. We discovered last week that his family is also linked to Taliban directly, one of the more important in Kordar area. And so what is that? What are we doing with all this money spent in this fight? And with, if you look, from the first day of the arrival of the army of NATO countries, they have said, please, like Napoleon has said in Egypt, like Napoleon has said, please don't touch to the women's rights, because this is a culture problem. And please, especially for the army and especially for, don't touch, don't touch. So what about, could you imagine from the beginning of the war, at the beginning of 2002, you have spent incredible money of women also, because you are paying taxes. We are all paying taxes in our country. To have what as an effort for the progress of women? Nothing. They will go backward when Karzai will be alone with his agreement with the Taliban. So this is why we have to fight. We have a lot of things to fight, and we have all our association. But I think that the real common point for us must be to fight all religions in their will of limiting the role and the attitude of women inside the society.
Thank you so much.